Hey everyone, Frankie Mooney here. I think I can speak for most of us when I say that Christmas 2019 was wrapped up with hope and promise for going into 2020, but it quickly turned into something more akin to the worst year ever. Wedding, vacations, date nights, school days, work, and everything else in between has been thrown into utter chaos with a pandemic no one saw coming. And if that wasn't bad enough, the death toll has left millions of people grieving loved ones who have succumbed to the virus. If any time was a time of great fear and uncertainty, it's been 2020 thus far. It's more than anxiety about us or loved ones falling ill. While it's natural to fear for ourselves, our children, and the vulnerable members of society, there are additional concerns that come up with a pandemic like this. The financial repercussions, a potential recession, and missing out on so much of life. Life is short enough as it is. No one wants to be behind closed doors missing out on friends and family. However, the nature of this pandemic is that it's right to shield ourselves from those situations for the greater good. The big question is, what role can hope play in these times of fear and uncertainty? Even when you get through this pandemic, there will be something else down the line that puts your mental health on the line. That's the reality of life. It throws banana peels in your path and you have to swerve and correct or slip and fall. Hope is constant. No matter how bad things get, hope keeps you sane. So first, let me address the elephant in the room. Let's discuss the pandemic, specifically on how hope can help you protect your mental health. Don't worry, everything I'm about to cover ties into the bigger picture of coping with fear and uncertainty. A pandemic is just a particularly apt example of times of great fear and uncertainty. The reality is that the pandemic will and would never go away if everyone were not prepared to play their part. Hand washing, hand sanitizer, mask wearing, social isolation, and all the rest of it all had their role to play in dealing with it. And the countries who recovered the quickest were the countries that banded together to beat the coronavirus into submission. They played their part in the wider team and came back stronger than ever. That is true of any situation rooted in fear or uncertainty. When you're faced with uncertainty, reach out to your community for support. That's why we work so hard to maintain social connections and build a strong network of people around us. Humans are social creatures, and when acting as a community are better off. In any situation, it's important that you educate yourself and share relevant information with the people in your life. However, the key is to seek out reputable information. Don't seek out information or sources that back up your hunch on a specific talking point. Turn to the professionals. Rarely is the world so in agreement with what's going on. In this case, the prevailing message has been the advice I've mentioned before as being the right way forward. Don't resist it because you heard somewhere that it wasn't true. That can be said of any situation. When we feel fearful or uncertain about what's going on, we often seek out sources that make us feel better by agreeing with us. And as tempting as that is, it's something you should resist. You have to put on your critical thinking cap and question the information you access. If you're a religious person, you can pray daily and read your holy text. If you're a spiritual person, you can commune with nature, set daily intentions, read spiritual texts, or journal. There are all different ways to root yourself in your brand of spirituality. If you practice in the best of times, you will find it easier to maintain it at the worst of times. This is a valuable tool to help you manage stress and improve mental health. Self-compassion is a major part of this, and showing yourself kindness and understanding counts. While some people may view it as selfish, the reality of the matter is that we often treat ourselves more harshly than we do others. You don't deserve to be your own doormat, so let go of the perfectionism that holds you and start practicing self-compassion. Give yourself permission to slow down and breathe. Give yourself permission to do very little, but perhaps explore the various ways to practice self-compassion. Hope stems from positivity and self-compassion, and support is positivity. The pandemic has touched everyone all over the world, so you're not alone in a situation like this. While we're unlikely to experience something on this level again in our lifetimes, the trauma and hardship that touches our lives are often shared by the people around us. In any situation, it's important to increase emotional intimacy and stay connected with the people in your life. It could be as simple as texting regularly, logging in for video chats, or even playing games together. It's especially important that we look after our older community. They're far more vulnerable and more likely to live alone. Reach out with a phone call, or record videos or audios to send them to keep them upbeat, especially during these times of difficulty. Of course, you could also revisit the old practice and start writing letters. Hope is always found in human connections. In the face of a pandemic, a social life is just about impossible. Though that is certainly eased now, it still offers you a unique opportunity. What do you know about your history, culture, or art? Are you familiar with the story behind your ethnic group, or the history of your family? Why not take this opportunity to get to know more about where your ancestors came from, and what type of cultural background you came from? It provides you with a deeper understanding of your own history, but it may also provide you with insight into a variety of other cultures as well. Any experience of uncertainty or fear can provide you with the opportunity if you're prepared to reach out and grab it. There's always room for personal growth. Hope is found whenever we find the gifts of adversity. During a crisis, our mental health is often the first thing to go out the window. Right now, depression and anxiety are on the rise, and that will only be set to grow as we try to come to grips with what's going on in the world around us. In addition to the dangers of the coronavirus, there is the danger of isolation, job losses, and relationship strife. We are going through a unique, life-changing situation, and people with anxiety and depression will be feeling that even more acutely right now. According to the World Health Organization, depression is the world's leading cause of disability and affects almost 300 million people worldwide. And as far as the United States of America goes, it's the number one mental health issue and affects almost 1 in 5 adults. And those numbers are only set to increase. It's important to focus on the fact that it's treatable, and people should feel comfortable seeking treatment instead of attempting to self-treat their illness. There are some ways you can self-help. However, by addressing anxiety and fear, when we feel helpless, our anxieties increase. When we feel hopeless, our insecurities gain ground. It doesn't matter how hard you try sometimes. They still seem to get you when you least expect it. That's because we often stop paying attention to what's going on within us and allow stress to creep in and create havoc. Then you reach a point where you realise that all these things you've convinced yourself of are lies or simply no longer valid. This is why I want to have a serious conversation about managing anxiety and depression in times of fear and uncertainty. The world is evolving rapidly, and due to all of that uncertainty, we're experiencing a spike in fear, anxiety and worry. These aren't just words that are about to scare people. There are very real physical side effects that accompany these negative emotions. If you're experiencing fear and uncertainty, then you may have difficulty sleeping, problems staying asleep, trouble concentrating, fatigue, headaches, panic attacks, nausea. You might find yourself crying uncontrollably, or you might be in the habit of catastrophizing. It sounds scary because it is. Most people underestimate just how great the toll anxiety and uncertainty can have on a person, physically and emotionally. But you can protect your mental health by investing in your body, mind and spirit. In terms of supporting your physical health, You can eat well, exercise daily, and avoid alcohol. Sleep is also an important aspect of maintaining physical health. You can improve your sleep routine by avoiding food, alcohol, and screens 2 hours before bed. Keep your bedroom quiet, dark, and cool to create the perfect sleep environment. If your bed and pillow aren't great, consider investing in an upgrade. You'd be surprised at the difference it can make. When it comes to your mind, do your best to surround yourself with people who are positive and supportive. Practice positive affirmations and self-talk. If you feel as though additional support is necessary, then consider reaching out to a therapist. It's time to feed your spirit, and you can do this through purposeful actions and thoughts. What are your core values? Allow these values to guide you daily. Offer compassion to yourself and to others, especially those in need. Focus on those things that make you happy and stimulate joyful feelings, and avoid those that trigger negativity. For example, watching the news too much can be a trigger, so avoid that and instead do some gardening. One thing that's common for people facing anxiety, depression, and uncertainty is substance abuse. It's really easy to pour an extra glass of wine, to pop a pill you don't need, or to seek out other self-sabotaging habits. Instead, choose not to drink or take drugs during this vulnerable time, and instead engage in hopeful activities. Manage stimulation by turning the TV off and putting your gadgets aside for extended periods of time. When you find yourself in your device-free moments, seek positivity. You can do this through positive conversations with friends, positive self-talk, or simply reading a book or listening to music that uplifts you. Additionally, looking after your body physically is an excellent way to support your emotional side. Eat well, sleep well, exercise, and avoid things that cause you stress. The greatest fear and anxiety that we have to navigate through, especially in times of uncertainty, are the irrational and persistent thoughts that come with the not known. Unfortunately, that feeling breeds more negative emotions like sadness, anger, and even paralysing fear, as well as disrupting our sleep. Uncertainty has become par for the course though. The world has shifted and society is changing. All the things we have taken for granted are suddenly up in the air. How do you hold on to those things, and what do you focus on when you're stuck in uncertainty? There are strategies that can help you navigate this type of situation. You have to acknowledge the challenge you're facing and address it. The best way to restore strength and calm is by taking small steps at a time. Positive self-talk, positive affirmations, and being proactive about maintaining fitness and making healthy meals are great starting points. It's always wise to spend time outdoors. Fresh air and sun are good for your mind, body and spirit. Limit news watching. Go for a walk instead. Read a book, watch a relaxing movie, or finish a project. Find a supportive group that inspires positivity, whether it's your friends, family, or even a support group online. If you build a supportive group, they can help you affect positive change within yourself, and you can likely repay the favour for them when they're at their low points. If your uncertainty is health related, like the pandemic, then listen to the advice of experts, follow guidelines, and listen to the professionals. There are always proactive measures you can take to make a positive difference in your mental health, no matter what's going on around you. Practice empathy, commitment, compassion, and joy at the best of times, so that when the worst of times roll around, you're prepared to practice more of the same. You never know who you're going to inspire to be strong and steady when the time comes. And when uncertainty does come calling, the biggest issue many of us face is focusing on priorities. Like, what do you even focus on when everything is upside down? No matter what's going on, there will always be certain priorities you can hold on to. That is, eat well to keep your physical body ticking over healthily, ensuring you get good rest, taking proactive steps to protect your mental health, and avoid negativity in order to reinforce hope and positivity. It's always important to remember that the hard times will pass. They will be challenging, but there are positive ways you can protect yourself, while also supporting the people around you. Find hope in hopeful things, people and places. Optimism builds hope. Create a list of all the things that are optimistic right now. Search within for your optimism and make a list. And focus on that list daily. Make a long, detailed gratitude list. Gratitude builds hope. Gratitude is optimism. Gratitude is hope. Hope is in the more than 125 labs around the world working to create a vaccine. Hope is found in repeating positive affirmations daily. So decide to be hopeful, period. Once you decide something, you're most likely to manifest it. Look around you. Hope is everywhere. Hope lies in all the people helping others who've got no food or money. Hope is going to get groceries for your elderly neighbour. Hope is the children playing outside. Remember, even at the worst of times, much worse than now, people have found hope. Find hope from your past experiences. Think back to all the hardships you've endured and how everything turned out okay. Make a list of all that you hope for right now. Read it daily. Keep it in the forefront of your mind and believe in it. Here are some key facts of hope amid this pandemic. The sun is not cancelled or closed. Relationships are not cancelled or closed. Hope is never cancelled or closed. It is open and welcomes everyone, and no mask is required. Love is not closed or cancelled. Human kindness is not cancelled. Music is not cancelled. Reading under the sun is not cancelled. Kindness is not cancelled. Human connections have not been cancelled. In love, you find hope. In love, you find healing. Love will never be closed, shut down, or cancelled. You find hope in self-care, good news, and joyful moments. And remember, hope, H-O-P-E, stands for hang on, plight's end. Gandhi once said something powerful, something that highlights the power of positive affirmations without specifically shouting them out. Your beliefs become your thoughts become your words become your actions become your habits become your values, and your values become your destiny. In times of great fear and uncertainty, the best way to protect your mental health is to reach out and find the healing power of hope. And I hope this has provided you with a variety of tools to do just that. Ultimately, it's up to you to take a proactive approach to protect your mental health in the best of times, so that when the worst of times do come, you're in a strong position to protect yourself from its negative effects. Stay hopeful and take care.